Hi, everyone, and welcome to our latest episode of Between the Dots. We are doing an upcoming webinar on how to make the most of ASAE's AMS demo days. But really, this
It's
is
quite a
about,
mouthful. You got that out really well, Roni.
it's because it's our third
ASAE,
take.
AMS demo days. Yes.
It's because it's our third take. But But we are, this is really relevant information anytime you're making a system selection. It's not just about this one set of demos. So in order to kind of like prep for that, we wanted to share a little bit about how we view a system selection.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking it over, and it's both an art and a science. And that's a bit of a cliche, but it's really true how much you have to bring in both elements of judgment that are almost instinctual, but combine them with really strong analysis and judgment, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because this is like our yin and yang, Moira. Like you bring the art, I bring the science. So what do you feel is the art side of it?
I think one of the big parts is the people that you involve because you want to listen broadly. So you really want to bring people in and facilitate them to give you what is important to them. And bring them to agreement ultimately. And doing that with quite a large group is challenging. But at the same time, you also want at the pointy end, the people who are really willing to drive this, who are going to own it, make sure it's successful, and then in between, you want to make sure that you've gathered requirements and that you have a selection team that's judging all of the demos and the proposals. So, a question often is who do we involve? And often that's about making sure you've brought in all the the vocal people, the mavericks, and the people who are interested and influential. And I think that is part of an art in getting it right.
Yeah, fully agree. Another thing as you're talking that made me really feel the art side more is, we have this very structured process, but you can't be so inflexible. Like sometimes
Mm,
you need to add another vendor late, or you need to get more information at a time you wouldn't normally get that kind of information, and being really flexible within the structure is very the
right.
art side of it.
Now, today, Roni, you're wearing your glasses and you look very studious, right? So tell us though about the science side of a selection.
Why, yes, let me tell you. So the science side is my favorite part. In a lot of ways, I have a science background, and so that methodology. I think the parts that are really science are the requirements. So we spend so much time gathering such detailed requirements, documenting it perfectly, and we expect vendors to go through and be really honest with what they can and cannot do because the system has to meet your needs. And so the only real way to ensure that is through collecting those requirements and going through it and dotting every I, crossing every T, and
Mhm.
making sure that it's all very clearly written and documented. So that's one part. I think the other part that's really science is the pricing. So everybody has different pricing models and different implementation costs and services, and how does integrations work, and how does licensing work, and it's a nightmare. And so we do a very structured cost grid analysis, but doing that analysis, however you do it, making sure you understand the upfront costs, the ongoing costs, and being able to compare apples to apples. In every RFP, you're going to get a different fruit. So,
Right. So on the webinar, we're going to have this framework of the different ways we evaluate vendors and systems. And there's partly science, the functionality, the cost. There's partly art. What's their fit? What's the risk of going with them? And so we'll be bringing both of those together into our session, which will be fun.
we really will be. So join us on April 16th at noon. Bring your lunch. We will not, but we will not judge you. And we'd love to spend that hour with you.